Pakistan and China are good friends. They've been good friends for a long, long time. Pakistan, Taliban, and China, that makes a terrible combination for us. And this Taliban is one that has survived in Pakistan. This is the worst, or what I should say, the biggest paradox, that the United States was fighting Taliban in Afghanistan, but the United States' favorite, long-term favorite of military alliance was Pakistan. Taliban prospered essentially over the years and survived all the American bombings and all that because they were hiding in Pakistan. So now we have a situation where anti-Indian forces have now become a mighty combination, and we have to deal with this. I mean, can't deal with it the way Mr. Jaishankar or Mr. Doval would, like running at the moment's notice they run to a conference and they're kept outside the room. And for instance, in Doha, the Americans, the Pakistanis, and the Taliban, they negotiated the whole thing. Nobody else was there, and India was outside. And then after everything was decided and confirmed and announced, then the Indians were brought in to say hello to them. So, I mean, Indians are nowhere in this, absolutely. Our people are all great table Chanakyas who say we will move, master stroke of Mr. Modi will be that we'll make friends with Taliban. You can't make friends with Taliban. They are a hardcore Islamic organization, and in that there's no room for any other religion. The question that you pose is that what should be our posture? Our posture should be to treat Taliban as an enemy and find out who is there, anybody there who can challenge them and support them.
Mast joke mara re. Ya has re halkat has.
We also had a civil society briefer today, Mr. Dawood Moradian, who's the Director General of the Afghan Institute for Strategic Studies, who recently escaped from Kabul. And he shared his insights on the growing menace of ISIL Daesh in the region.
The moment of truth has come for us. I mean, you can't just go on. I mean, it's very sad that China turned hostile and took over our territory. And this territory was mutually agreed as Indian territory for the time being, namely when 1993 we decided that till the dispute is settled, we will carve out areas which will be administered by these us two countries, namely India and China. So Aksai Chin went to China, and the others, the Ladakh part, came to India. And yet China crossed that line of control which they have signed. It's a mutually agreed, I think, the LAC, and came and captured our territory. So we should have responded militarily. The only time we responded militarily, we got to give them a bashing, and that was in Galwan. And but since then, the Chinese have approached by the crouching method. So we have all these diplomats saying we will talk, we'll go to Russia and have a talk and so on. And then they say, okay, both of us will withdraw 220 kilometers each of each other, and then the moment we withdraw, within a short time, China just comes and fills the gap. And then we again shout and scream, again have another meeting, and again we agree to draw back another 20 kilometers. So this I mean, this is the most incompetent handling of China I've ever seen in any part of the world. Probably as bad as what happened in 1962.
He's dangerous.
Now, with the Taliban coming to POK, Pakistan occupied Kashmir, the Kashmir problem is going to be a terrible problem for you, because the The people there already, those people who were in the political field earlier in Kashmir, our Kashmir, they are now become very bitter. They could easily start, intermingling with this Taliban, and I'm afraid we have got a major national security problem. Taliban coming is not only good for the militants in Afghanistan, but it's also equally important for India. It's been a very, very, very negative development for us, for which we have to now decide how to go about it.
अभी हम क्या करें?
मजा आया.
Pakistan has made a complete fool of the United States. They have done small things like Osama bin Laden, telling where he is hiding, but at the same time, they have given complete sanctuary to Taliban. And so America was fighting Taliban in Afghanistan, and their principal ally in this region was playing host to Taliban. And that's why the Taliban suddenly, there was a surge. How? Because they were all living in Pakistan. They just crossed across and went. Taliban actually was brought in there by vehicles provided by Pakistan. And so I think we have to understand we are totally isolated in this area, but we are strong enough to fight them because the terrain is in our favor. We must evict China from Ladakh. That will have a huge message for even Taliban that we could do this, because at this moment we have got a very, very bad image because they're having occupied our territory. We are all the time suing them for peace and meetings, and this is something which has hurt our image in a very big way. I think you have seen the end of that relationship now, because the shock they have got when they found that thousands and thousands of Taliban soldiers just crossed the Pakistani border and came to Afghanistan. And under what assurance did the Americans give up that air base, what called
Bagram. Yes.
Bagram. This is the most modern military airport in the whole world. And the Americans just walked off, leaving everything there, including aircrafts.
Yes.
On whose word? Now, they will not admit it today, but I'm telling you, it will come out in time that it was on the Pakistan assurance that the Taliban will not take this airport, and this airport could be continued to be used later on. So this time they have been jilted, and you know that when in a romance jilting takes place, it's deadly. So the Pakistan-American romance is over. You can't benefit that unless India is ready to fill the vacuum. The Americans are not going to come back to Afghanistan. And so if you want the Americans to feel secure, you have to play an active role. We have to take over this national alliance. We have to build them. We have to give them weaponry. We have to give them intelligence. We have to give them links to international issues. So I think we need an activist Indian government, not one which just goes on cocktail parties and gets carried away by praise, which our newspapers dutifully reproduce in the front page, first headline. So we have to now think seriously in terms of our security, in which we mean, as the American says, put your money where your mouth is. That is exactly what we have to do.
Does anybody else have an Afghanistan-related question?
I do have an Afghanistan question. Thank you, Mr. Minister. This is Susan from WION News India. Will India recognize the Taliban, and what is India's position on the Taliban?
ये खेल क्या है?
हमको नहीं पता।
हमको कुछ नहीं पता।